दोस्तों नमस्कार। तिलहन, दलहन, मसाला, कपास, गवार सीड, सोना चांदी, मेटल, इन सभी के भाव निशुल्क एक वेबसाइट पर उपलब्ध हैं। खाद्य तेलों में सोयाबीन, सरसों, पाम ऑयल के भाव एवं रिसर्च रिपोर्ट्स एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म पर उपलब्ध है, तुषार ग्लोबल सर्विसेज.com। बिल्कुल देखना ना मिस कीजिए। यदि आप व्यापारी हैं, मंडी के कमीशन एजेंट हैं या फिर हैं किसान, इन सभी के लिए निशुल्क विशेष भाव एवं रिसर्च रिपोर्ट के लिए विजिट करिए तुषार ग्लोबल सर्विसेज.com।
Good morning, everybody. I Tushar Jain, CFO and Research Head of Ajay Astro Money Guru. Welcome all of you today on 4th October 2022. In this episode, we will discuss about the Indian stock markets and what all things you need to consider for next few trading days. So, if we see the Indian markets, they have opened gap up, and both the major indices of India, that is Nifty and Bank Nifty, are significantly up. Nifty is up by around 2%, and Bank Nifty is up by around 2.7%. And Indian markets are showing significant recovery and positive move, in especially today's market. And if we see the yesterday's market, during the yesterday's session, some profit booking have been seen, but day before yesterday's session, that is on Friday, again the Indian markets have shown a significant upward movement. And also if we see the US markets also and other global markets also, yesterday the US markets have shown significant upward movement, and in fact all its major indices were up by by around 2.5%, whether it is Dow Jones, Nasdaq, or S&P 500. And if you remember, in a previous live shows, we have discussed the technicals of the US indices that we will show you again. And if you have remembered, then we have mentioned that this low, 17 June low, which has been passed by the Dow Jones, but not by the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500. This is the chart of S&P 500, and both Nasdaq and S&P 500 managed to trade along around this level only, but have not passed on a close to close basis. And we have recommended you to stay alerted and see whether the Nasdaq or S&P 500 will start recovering from those levels or will break this level and form new lows. So currently it is again consolidating at those levels only. No major recovery sign have been seen till now. If we see the RSI, although the RSI is somewhat showing some positive signals that it is moving from oversold zone to normal zone, which is used to be the 40, and yesterday it closed at around 37.35, which is very close to 40. So some positive sign is being seen from the RSI point of view. But again, we need to be very careful, and since tomorrow will be the uh, trading holiday in India because of the Dashera, therefore we need to be very careful and alerted in taking any position. And it is but the global markets will remain open tomorrow, whose impact will be seen cumulatively on the day after tomorrow's session, and that will be the weekly expiry also of the indices in India. So on Thursday, a big movement can be expected in either direction. Therefore, we need to be very careful and very alerted in taking any position. And since there is if we see the global news is or global scenario, nothing has been changed, and the situation is similar and almost same as it was during the last as it was during the last week. So there is no concrete reason for the recovery from the current levels. Only a thing, we can say that the market have already been fallen so much that it might recover from the lower levels, but there is no positive sign from the economy point of view, whether it is uh, of the global markets or on the domestic. All the domestic markets, the domestic economy is strong as compared to other global economies, but still. The sell-off which was going on from last 2 weeks was because of the global economic conditions and global stock markets, which is the global stock market can see some recovery, but still the economy is not showing positive signals as of now. So we need to be very careful about that also. So it is still advised to not to take any big position for the short term perspective in buying, but it is advised to start accumulating for the medium to long term perspective. The current market is good for investment point of view for the medium to long term perspective, rather than going for buying for the intraday or short term perspective by taking margins or uh, through the future and options. So it is better to stay away from that, but rather it is advised to go for cash market buying for the investment purpose for minimum 2 to 3 months and for the investment also. And now we will talk about the Indian stock market's conditions, what it is expected. And if we see the Nifty, Bank Nifty, they are both showing significant upward movement by around 2 to 2.5%. Bank Nifty is up by around 2.5%, and Nifty is up by around 2%. And almost all the major stocks are showing positive return. And if we see the sectoral uh, position, then we can see that almost all the indices are in green, whether it is of IT, metal, FMCG, auto, pharma, private bank, media, energy, real estate, infrastructure. All the indices are in a green, except India VIX, which is a positive sign. India VIX is almost at 20, uh, is almost at the level of 20, which is on neutral, you can say, not very good and not very bad, a neutral point. And the negative sign begins when it crosses the level of 30. So 20 is normally in a normal zone, so we need not to worry much about the India VIX, and it is down by around 6.66%, which is again a positive sign. And if we see the stock specific, if you remember in our previous episodes, we have recommended HDFC Bank for the medium to long term perspective. It is up by around 2%. Also, we recommended Pidilite Industries. It is also up by around 1%. And also, we recommended Tata Motors for the medium to long term perspective, and it is up by around 1.6%. So, I hope you liked our analysis, and you can still consider stocks like HDFC Bank, Tata Motors. Also, you can consider Steel Authority of India for the medium to long term perspective. This also we have discussed in our yesterday's morning live show. The Steel Authority of India is also at the level of 77.05. You can also consider this for the medium to long term perspective. Also, you can consider Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, which is at around 2336, and it is up by around 2% for the medium to long term. And another stock will be India Cement. This also you can consider. So we have discussed some stocks for the medium to long term perspective that you can accumulate in your portfolio. And India Cement is more for the medium term, which is for the 2 to 4 months. And other stocks that includes Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HDFC Bank, Steel Authority of India. These stocks you can consider for medium as well as the long term perspective. So that's all for the today's episode. Also, you should consider our standard disclaimer. that all these information and analysis are purely for research and training, educational and research purposes. We do not hold any responsibility or liability if you incur any losses or profits through the trading, and it is advised to consult your personal financial advisor as well as your personal wisdom if you go for any trade. So that's all for today's episode. I hope you liked our analysis. Catch us live again at around 10:30 a.m. In that episode, we will discuss in Hindi about the agro commodities, non-agro commodities, Rashi Fal, as well as Indian markets in Hindi. So thank you and good day.